What's up, guys? My name is Gabe and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the Michigan game preview. Now, as I and many others have talked about, this is the biggest game in the Lincoln Riley era at USC, full stop. We're going to learn everything we need to know about this team this week. I'm super excited to get out to the Coliseum and see this year's team in person. And yeah, we have an absolute ton to get into, so if you guys are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I do got to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. So Underdog is your one-stop shop for daily fantasy sports. It's so much fun. It's so easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick players based on stats. You're going to choose more or less depending on what the projections are for that given game. So for instance, the NHL is back. I am a diehard Anaheim Ducks fan. So my play for tonight is to have Leo Carlsson to have more than 0.5 points, Cutter Gauthier to have more than 2.5 shots on goal, Eli Tolvanen of the Kraken to have more than 1.5 shots on goal, and Jackson Lacombe to get more than a half point after he signed that massive contract. So as you can see, it's very simple. It's a ton of fun. And all you have to do is sign up using my code BLADE, play $5 in lineups, and you are going to get $100 in bonus funds. Guys, this is an incredible deal. It was $50 in bonus funds. They just bumped it up. They doubled it. So get over there to Underdog, use my code BLADE, and then send me your lineups over on Twitter in my DMs. So many of you guys are having a blast with this. This week, want to shout out Kevin and Caden for sending me your picks over on Twitter. If you guys sign up with my code and send me your lineups, you will get shouted out on the show. So thank you so much, Underdog. Now let's get into the preview. All right, so first things first, let's dive in here and meet the Michigan Wolverines. The head man is, of course, Sharon Moore. And man, he has been a busy man this week, talking a lot about USC, talking a lot about the LA Coliseum, why it's going to be a sellout, why it's going to be full. And is what he said factually incorrect? No. It's a big game against a big brand. That's why it's sold out. He's right about that. But why in the world would you give USC any bulletin board material when we're struggling to get going in the physical department? What's one thing that can get that done? Calling someone out, being disrespectful, and that's exactly what he was in his presser. I loved Lincoln's response saying he doesn't care what Sharon says. I think Lincoln's been far too passive for far too long, so I love to see our head coach getting involved like that. And hopefully that'll be just what we needed for our guys to come out swinging this week. Now, before we dive in and meet the offense and defense, I really just want to talk about the scale of this game and what it means for USC. So first off, with the game last year, that was one of the most horrifically officiated games I think I've ever seen. The insane amount of holding calls. The multiple delay games that never got called on Michigan. Them headhunting Makai Lemon on a punt, hitting him so hard, sandwiching him that he had to get sent to the hospital. Miller Moss got hit late 3 or 4 times. Last year's game was heartbreaking, it was controversial, and that's when our season really started to go off the rails. And once again, 1 year later, the Michigan game is here, and if we don't win it, the season is going to go off the rails. So if we do not win this game to Michigan, right, I think it's safe to say we're not going to win in South Bend, and we're not going to win in Eugene. So there's 4 losses right there. And if all that happens, who's to say we're not going to lose against Nebraska or Iowa? Even the Bruins are showing that they can be pretty frisky. So with at Notre Dame almost being a guaranteed loss at this point, assuming we lose to Michigan in this scenario, you'll be on a 3-game losing streak, losing to the only 3 quality opponents you've played so far this year. If you're 4-3 and your 4 wins are against Missouri State, Georgia Southern, Purdue, and Michigan State, no one's going to give a damn. Those essentially don't count for anything. We simply cannot lose this game because if that happens, if we cannot win against a Michigan team we're favored against at home in year 4 under Lincoln Riley, what does that say about the trajectory of this program? And as much as we can't lose, I think how the game goes is almost as important. Like, we can't get pushed around this week. Like, let's just call it what it is. Illinois flat out destroyed us on the line of scrimmage. We were soft. We got pushed back. We got blasted off the ball. We did not want to step into the middle of that field and throw punches. Our guys were not there mentally, and it was just an overall dreadful performance. So in this one, we have to bounce back. We have to be tough. We have to be physical. I'm not saying we have to control the line of scrimmage or be dominant or anything like that, but it has to be at the minimum a push. This is truly an era-defining game at USC. I don't think that's hyperbolic. We're at a fork in the road. One road where we win this game, the season is reset. Energy is brought back into the fan base. Because I've been taking a look across YouTube at all the USC creators. Everybody's views after that Illinois game, skydive. So if you're here today, I really appreciate you because a ton of USC fans are tuning out. And if we lose this game against Michigan, it's going to get toxic. It's going to get angry. and people are going to start mentally checking out like they did in the Helton era. There's no other option this week. We simply have to win. I don't care if it's a score of 3-2. I don't care if we win 48-44. I do not care at all as long as we win this game. A chance at redemption and becoming what we all hope we can be on one side, and despair, and another almost guaranteed 8-4 finish at best on the other. And again, that's assuming we don't lose to Iowa or Nebraska. This could easily be a 6-6 team. So with that cheery segment out of the way, let's dive in and meet the Michigan offense. They are, of course, led by true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood. This kid is getting better and better. So far in the year, completing 59% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's taken 5 sacks. And I know those numbers don't really stand out, but if you sit down and watch this kid, especially if you've watched every single game, you see the growth, you see the development, and you just see the natural God-given talent. This kid can throw off his back foot and zing a ball 60 yards down the field easy. He makes plays that most guys just quite simply can't. But of course, as a super physically talented true freshman, he struggles in the areas you would expect him to. If there's a 2nd and 8 and he rolls out and there's an open check down that can get them to 3rd and 2, he's not going to take it. He's going to try to get it all in one chunk. And those sort of things add up, and that's what we saw at Oklahoma. He wouldn't take any of the easy stuff. He didn't know what he was looking at. He didn't have a clean picture, and they struggled mightily in that game offensively. Now, it's rare for him just to have like a traditional drop back. What this offense does, and this is not going to come as a surprise to anybody, they're going to run the ball over and over and over, and they're going to boot off that in the play action game. They're going to get Bryce in space, they're going to get him on the move, and they're going to let him throw the ball to the sidelines to his playmakers. Now, one problem that Bryce has that it's really evident if you just watch them play, it doesn't matter if it's a bomb downfield or a swing to the running back, he's throwing the ball 100 miles per hour. It's very unnecessary. It makes it a lot harder to catch the ball for some guys. He'll learn to dial that back to put more touch on the ball, but right now he only has a fastball. He has no off-speed pitches, so that's something to watch. So if they can run the ball, and we're having problems in the interior of our defensive line once again, that's going to be a massive, massive problem for our defense. Because what is that going to do? That's going to force us to bring those safeties down. And when they do that, they're going to hit us with the play action. They're going to have a wide out on a go route. And knowing our corners, he's going to be open. So if Bryce is at least a little accurate, they're going to be able to hit us for explosives in the pass game, which they weren't last year and won the game anyway. So the absolute biggest key has to be to stop the run because everything is built around that in this scheme. And when you're talking about the run game and you're pairing Bryce Underwood with a running back like Justice Haynes, who for me is one of the most talented runners in the entire country, that's not even talking about Jordan Marshall. This is an extremely dangerous rushing attack, which we've been giving up explosives in the run game all year. It doesn't matter if it's Michigan State or it's Georgia Southern or it's Illinois. We're not doing a good job at containing those runs. So stylistically for our defense against this offense, it's a horrible matchup for us. It just is. What they do well, we do not do well. Like this does not match up for us to be successful. We're going to have to see a performance that we just haven't seen this year. We're going to have to count on things that haven't happened. We need a dominant performance from our defensive line. We have to hold the edges, we have to be disciplined, and we have to be gap sound. And Desmond Stevens playing Mike, he can't hang back in coverage. He can't be hesitant to fill the hole like he has been all year. He has to come down and play smash mouth Big Ten linebacker and put his head in the hole and take on these runners. That's just what he has to do. I trust Jaden Walker to do that. I trust Eric Gentry to mostly do that. We're going to have to play a downhill, physical attack style of defense, plain and simple. Christian Pierce needs to be on the field in this game. The way he can diagnose, the way he can knife through, he's going to be a key part of this defense, in my opinion. And that's even if Kamari's back at safety because we have Alex Graham playing nickel. Christian Pierce has to have a role, get him on the field somehow, don't care how they do it. Looking at the wideouts, they have Donovan McCulley. He's 6'5", contested catch monster. With the way our corners don't get their heads around and how we're really lacking size outside of a guy like Carlos Nicholson, he could have a big day. But the guy to watch, the guy to highlight is going to be true freshman Andrew Marsh. He is going to be starting in this game. 6 foot, 190 from Katy, Texas. This kid is an athlete, a legitimate one, very fast, very quick in and out of his breaks. They can use him in the swing game, in the reverse game. They're going to try to get the ball in his hands any way they can. So number 4, Andrew Marsh, circle him, highlight him, know the name. And then the offensive line, is this a traditional super dominant Joe Moore level Michigan offensive line? I don't think they're there, but they're still pretty damn good, guys. Like just what we've seen on the field, they definitely have the advantage over our defensive line. So Deanton Lynn is going to have to come up with some creative ways to get after the passer and attack this run game from the edges. Now, defensively for the Wolverines, the key question here is Elijah Page going to be good to go? We don't know that yet. Lincoln actually sounded a little hesitant when he talked about it, so we'll have to wait and see on that. If Elijah Page can't go, I'm not confident in our ability to run the ball on this defensive front. Because when Elijah and Tobias are playing on that left side, they are borderline dominant. They can open up those big holes. Elijah's so athletic. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the country. By far and away the best offensive lineman on this team. It's not relatively close in my opinion. And last week when he was out, we saw the run game suffer. So we need him back in the worst of ways. Jayshawn Barham is a pass rusher to know. He has 3 sacks on the year already. Hyper athletic kind of kid. 6'3", 243 senior. We have to be able to protect Jay Mayava. Because especially if Elijah doesn't play, I'm not confident in our ability to run the ball on this defense. So we're going to have to be able to stretch them out. We're going to have to be able to keep Jaden upright. Because I'm sure you guys remember, but Miller Moss last year, oh my God, what a beating he took. It was a heroic effort by him in the second half. We might need that from Jaden this entire game. Like he might have to play the game of his life to keep us in this one if we can't hold up blocking. Now, if our offensive line is a net neutral or even wins, that opens up so much different stuff for this offense. In the secondary, I don't think they have the guys at corner to hang with our receivers, especially Mekhi Lemon, because frankly, no one does. Mekhi Lemon is the best wideout in the country. I don't care what anyone else tells you. In terms of separation, hands, blocking, all of it, he's the complete package. Amon-Ra St. Brown 2.0. So keep Jaden upright, let him get the ball out in rhythm on time. Now, Rod Moore is the best defensive back for sure on Michigan. He's one of the best in the country. He's a 6 foot, 200-pound senior, ball hawk kind of safety, had a really big pick in their last game. This is a guy that's just returning for injury, so he's still been a little rusty. He's going to play a big role in this one. And overall, just like on the defensive side, whether our offense has success or not is going to be decided in the trenches. We have to hold up on the offensive line. We have to give Jaden time, and we have to give the running backs a chance. Too often in the game against Illinois, we were being contacted at or behind the line of scrimmage. We cannot have that happen in this game. Now, if I'm Michigan schematically, I'm going to come out and sit back. Like, I'm not going to want to get torched by these wideouts. I'm going to dare USC to run the ball. They're going to think they're the more physical and tough team. They're going to trust their defensive line just to dominate. And if we let them do that, they're going to win the game, plain and simple. So if they're going to sit back, we have to be able to get a push. We have to be able to run the ball, and Lincoln has to be willing to stick with it. So I'm not going to do G's keys this week. I kind of just went over what all the keys were. And honestly, this game is so important. Like I said earlier, I don't care if the score is 2-0. I don't care if it's 99-98. We have to find a way to win. That is literally all that matters. It doesn't matter how ugly it is, how bad we look. I do not give a shit. Our season is either resurrected and we have a legitimate chance to do some damage this year, or it's essentially done. This is as high stakes, as high drama as you're going to find in college football in 2025. And yeah, now let's get into the score prediction. So at the time of me recording this, around 2:20 on Thursday, October 9th, the USC is a 2.5 point favorite. It did open at 1.5. Going to be a 4:30 kick in the Coliseum. And yeah, I'll be honest, I have no idea how this one's going to go. I feel like this is one that you can't really predict. There's just so many variables. What USC team's going to show up? Are we going to be healthy? But for me, sitting here right now, my gut and my heart have two different answers. So I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I'm going to say that USC is going to win a very tough and defensive battle. And the final score is going to be USC 23, Michigan 21. Super close, super physical, super competitive. And it's going to be an all-time classic in the Coliseum. And we're going to be leaving with smiles on our faces. So guys, as always, please do let me know your score predictions down below. And yeah, there's nothing more I can say. We have to win. We must win. And yeah, beat the Wolverines.